We're joined today by musician Maud Hixson. She has a show coming up at the Wow Zone in Mankato on June 25th. She'll be playing with the Rick Carlson Trio. It is a fundraiser for the Betsy Tacy Society. Hi, Maud. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm excellent. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Well, first of all, you've got a show coming up at the Wow Zone in Mankato, June 25th. Can you tell the listeners a bit about your music, maybe in case they haven't discovered you yet? What are we in for with the show?
Well, this is an evening of classic swing and jazz, so you'll hear a lot of music from the 20s through roughly the 50s, when music tastes kind of changed, when jazz was sort of mainstream, and we cover sort of what they call the Great American Songbook. And it's a wonderful trio with Rick Carlson on piano. And we have a bass and drums with us, and it's just going to be a fun evening.
Excellent. I know there's a dinner that starts at 5, and then the show starts at 7. Again, at the Wow Zone, you can get your tickets through them. And the show is a fundraiser for the Betsy Tacy Society, and all the proceeds go to them. I know you've done some fundraisers for them in the past, too.
I have. In fact, we collaborated a few years ago. They commissioned a CD that Rick and I put together of songs that were referred to in the books, in the Betsy Tacy books. So those were sort of from the 1890s through World War I. And there's just a treasure trove of great music from that period. And it was fun for us to bring those to life. So you'll hear some of those as well. And
that's the album Listening for Your Songs.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of, as you mentioned, kind of maybe like a companion to the Betsy Tacy books. Of course, a lot of people around here are familiar with them, too.
Yeah, well, it's fun because when I was a kid, I was introduced to the books, and I was enchanted by the idea that there was this little girl in the 1890s who'd grown up, in Mankato, and her experiences were, of course, very different, but kind of the same as being a kid, as there are always some similarities. But I always wondered how those songs went, what do they sound like? So it was fun to research them and find them and learn the songs and then record them.
Is it tough to track down some of these songs? You mentioned kind of late 1800s all the way back. I mean, it's obviously you can't just go on Google and look for sheet music for a lot of this stuff.
No, it's a little bit more obscure, although there is a wonderful collection of the sheet music that some of the Betsy Tacy Society people tracked down almost everything that we used and put it in this spiral book that I own now, and it's just a great resource. But yeah, this was before people were recording, really. If you go on YouTube, you can find people's wax cylinder recordings from like 1908. Wow. So there were a couple of things like that, but really it's mostly sheet music.
Excellent. Again, Maud Hixson's with us, and she's playing at the Wow Zone on June 25th with the Rick Carlson Trio. And that is a fundraiser for the Betsy Tacy Society. You can get your tickets through the Wow Zone. Maud, I wanted to ask you, I would think most women your age grew up being maybe fans of NSYNC and stuff like that. I mean, what led you down the road for kind of the big band jazz stuff?
Well, I have to say, because I listened to the radio just like my friends, but I was also, for some reason, very hooked on movie musicals from the 30s and 40s. They were on network television when I was a kid, and I was suddenly entranced with Fred and Ginger and Doris Day and Judy Garland, and I don't know why, but I enjoyed those movies, and that was my gateway to those songs because that's where you hear all of them.
And I know you're playing all over the place these days, and you're playing with the French 75 sextet. I mean, there are so many timeless classics from, that era and the Great American Songbook. It seems like it's probably a great time to make a living as a jazz singer now.
It is. I think there's never been a time where people could find what they're particularly interested in. Everything is accessible to people now. You can go on YouTube and you can look for the most obscure things and find them. And so also people can connect up with artists that they like and find, where they're playing. And I have a website, and I think it's a nice time because people can really find each other and their little niche interests. And I also think, too, it makes people aware of a lot more different kinds of music. When I was a kid, there was, a couple radio stations, and that was what there was.
Yeah, I'm amazed you're able to keep it all straight. I mean, with the...
Oh, I am, too.
Yeah, the amount of shows...
There are definitely times where I'm like, I wonder if I remember this one.
Well, I know I've seen you've done a Gershwin show recently, and Henry Mancini, Doris Day, and, the French 75 stuff. You must have about 5,000 songs ready to go.
There are lots, and, it's just a matter of refreshing your memory every time you do a new one.
And again, the show at the Wow Zone coming up on June 25th, and you're playing with the Rick Carlson Trio. You guys seem to collaborate quite a bit. I'm guessing you've got everything down by this point.
Pretty much. That same weekend, we'll be also performing at the Twin Cities Jazz Festival, so we'll be right in the groove.
Wonderful. Well, I wanted to ask you that. What was coming up next for you? I know you've got a lot of shows throughout the summer. Is there maybe a new project or something like that we should be looking out for?
Yes, actually, I think in August, I should be releasing a new CD I have recorded of the music of Richard Rodney Bennett, who was a mentor of mine, and he was also a great film composer. He wrote the score to Murder on the Orient Express and a lot of other great movies. And but he was also a jazz pianist, and we worked together. And he wrote some great songs that are not so well known, so it's going to be fun to release an album of his work.
Excellent. Where's the best place for the listeners to go if they want to get the CD or maybe just to find out more about you?
They should go to maudhixson.com. It's Maud without an E. And it's Hixson, Hixson.
Wonderful. Well, Maud, I'm looking forward to the show here at the Wow Zone and continued success for you. You've got so much great stuff going on, and it sounds like more is coming up down the road. So thank you again for your time today. I appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for letting people know. I appreciate it very much.
And again, that was Maud Hixson. She'll be performing with the Rick Carlson Trio at the Wow Zone on June 25th. You can get your tickets through the Wow Zone. There's a dinner that starts at 5 and the show starts at 7. And all the proceeds from the show will benefit the Betsy Tacy Society. Go to maudhixson.com for more info.